Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Normal Merrick Show. I'm your host, robnoerr. Great to be here. Is my hat on crooked? Great to be here this fine evening. Still working. Always. So, did I get much response from my debate with Casey yesterday? No. I didn't get really any response. Does he have a channel or something? Yeah, he's not very good, is he? They're not sending their best. Or maybe they are, and that's even scarier. But it works for their audiences. Whataboutism? There's the geniuses that you have on the left. So, Normal American Show, your host, robnoerr, happy to be here. I didn't ignore your message, shitbag. Go look, I commented under it. And Rumble, you left a message on Rumble. I left a comment under it. I appreciate it, though. I do. I actually had a different show planned for tonight, and then this news broke in like the last hour about Biden and a tape of him talking to the guy that was offering bribes. So news broke of that. Chuck Grassley was on the floor of the Senate announcing that. So we'll talk about that. That'll be the show today. And we will take calls from any lefty on any topic if they feel like it, because those are my favorite shows. I don't know if you could tell I enjoy that. I was up until 3 a.m. I will not be up till 3 a.m. I was up till 3 a.m. and then I had to get up at 6 for work. So that cannot happen this evening. I am tired. I drank a little more coffee than normal. A little amped, but but yeah, it should be a decent show. Anyways, maybe tomorrow I'll do the show I did have planned for today. It's a personal show. We'll still talk politics and what have, but some stuff about my life going on. So that was going to be what I talked about tonight, but we'll move on. Also, there's other things. News is coming fast and furious, right? Like there was this article from the Sun Times, maybe in the UK, where they had this massive investigation into the origins of the pandemic. And, it's all but confirmed by almost every institution now that it came from the Wuhan lab in China that the United States and Dr. Fauci funded. Yet there's no response. No one cares. Isn't it funny how these stories break? Trump, Russia, biggest story in the country. 3.5 years. That's all we could talk about. Biggest story. Then it was the pandemic. Biggest story. We had to take away people's right to work, take away their ability to go to public parks or to gather with friends or to see their family or to send their kid in school. And then when we find out all of the conspiracies in each of those that we were talking about ended up being true, they're like, well, it's time to move on. That's not a big deal now. The best way to get a hold of me, Twitter, a direct message on Twitter might be what I would check most often. So if you do that, my Twitter handle I'll ask a boomer question before we get started. So someone set this up for me. I type in my Restream chat here, I put !all, and it sets, boom, Stream Elements sets that message up. I don't know how someone set that up for me. How do I change that? Because what I would like is my Twitter handle is different now. It's not twitter.com/NorRobert. It's /robnoerr. I have no idea how to change it. I monkeyed around a little today and could not figure it out. So, yay! Old man doesn't understand technology. But think about that just real quick with the pandemic. Think about this. All of these decisions that were disastrous, crushed our economy, crushed young people's mental health, crushed their ability to learn, crushed people's social life. On and on and on. All of the horrors, right, that came from either the disease itself or the reaction to the disease. Who was the point person in discussing the pandemic? Sorry, Crisco, no fishing. Who would you say in the United States was the point person that we were told we had to listen to? Who could it be? Who was it? Not enough people in the audience to answer yet. Or maybe I'm delaying. Yeah, it was Fauci. He funded the lab. They wanted to blame Trump because he suggested things like hydrochloroquine, and somehow that made him respond. But the dude that was the point person making the decisions literally funded the lab that created the virus. What's up, Echo? And we're just, oh well. Don't have time to talk about that now. No one's going to blame China. Remember, they criticized China. It was xenophobic to say the China virus. Well, it looks like it came from China and was paid for in part by the United States. Oh, we're just done with that. That was the biggest thing. Now the biggest thing in the world's mishandling classified documents. Wasn't important when all the Democrats were doing it, was Hillary was doing it. But now it's the biggest thing in the world. Now it's the biggest story. And then 3 years from now, when lefties are mishandling classified documents, it won't be that's old news. That's old news. Now it's DeSantis is a secret Nazi or whatever. But that's not the show tonight. So if you're listening and you are a lefty and you want to call in and talk about something and you disagree with me, by all means, let me know in the chat. Doing good, 45. What we're going to talk about for this show is the news that broke of Grassley claiming that there is a 1023 document, an FBI document, saying that Joe Biden and Hunter Biden took bribes, were paid $5 million by one of the people in Burisma. And now the allegation is that there was 15, that person who offered the bribe saved 15 recordings with Hunter Biden and 2 with Joe Biden himself. Now, if you're unaware of the Burisma saga, let me try to, in 2 minutes, break it down. During the Obama presidency, Joe Biden was the point person with dealing with Ukraine. Ukraine was considered one of the most corrupt countries in the world. In 2014, there was a revolution, color revolution, that the United States helped back, but I digress. And a new president was installed named Poroshenko, who basically became a puppet of the Obama administration. But Biden was the point person. One of the groups there that was considered corrupt was a group named Burisma, that was, I believe, the second largest privately owned gas company in Ukraine. It was ran by a man named Nikola Zlochevsky. Zlochevsky was said to have been a pro-Russian oligarch who took a bunch of money from the government of Ukraine and elsewhere and then used it to enrich himself and was committing fraud and was basically this gangster-esque character. Now, these aren't my claims. These were the Obama administration's claims. This was Biden's claims. Simultaneously, that Biden's the point person in dealing with this, his son gets a job in the company of Burisma that's ran by this gangster that's pro-Russian. There's a bunch of back and forth emails suggesting that, and it just makes sense, that the reason that they hired Hunter Biden was to have access to Biden politicians in the United States. We could see emails suggesting, the leaders of Burisma suggesting exactly that. They also hired a guy by the name of Devin Archer, who I believe is John Kerry's son or relation to John Kerry. So they're paying Hunter Biden and Devin Archer, who have no expertise in gas or Ukraine, tons of money. Eventually, the prosecutor freezes the assets of this company, the Ukrainian prosecutor by the name of Shokin. Their lawyers reach out to the Obama State Department and people that answer to Joe Biden. They have a meeting, and within a week, Joe Biden's on an airplane saying that he's going to withhold $1 billion to the Ukraine unless they fire this prosecutor. They fire the prosecutor, the investigation gets buried. Now, that story alone, those are verifiable facts. That story alone warranted corruption charges, investigations, etc. But we didn't really get that. Now the allegation is that there was a bribe paid directly to Hunter Biden, but also Joe Biden. And now Grassley saying they actually are claiming the FBI has evidence that there are audio recordings of the person who paid that bribe talking to Joe Biden. So, in a nutshell, that's what's going on. Now, as always, I like to get my news from left-wing influencers, because they're the best, right? Like, whether it be the people I debate or, the prolific people on Twitter and things like that. Do you guys know who Brian Krasenstein is? Brian and Ed Krasenstein? Now, these are left-wing influencers, whatever, that have a big Twitter following. Let's see what they had to say. Let's see what they had to say about these allegations that a tape exists. Right? We'll start with that, and then we'll get into the nuances of it. Here's what Ed Krasenstein had to say. Now, Republicans, including Senator Chuck Grassley, say the FBI 1023 shows claims that a foreign national who allegedly bribed Joe and Hunter Biden has audio recordings of their conversation. Allegations are pointless without evidence. Unless you have the recordings or hard evidence of a deal taking place, this is a nothing burger. It's no different than the Trump PP tape. It's no different than Democrats claiming Kushner got a loan from Qatar in exchange for Trump supporting lifting the Saudi blockade. Any foreigner can make any claim they want to someone else, who can then report those claims to the FBI. Well, that's very interesting. It's no different than the Trump P tape. I'm glad you could admit that, Democrat shill. Fair enough. Then why doesn't the FBI treat it like they treated the Trump P tape? How's about it? FISA warrants, anyone? 4-year investigation? Subpoenaing everyone connected to Joe Biden? Raiding their lawyers' homes in the middle of the night? Looking for crimes that they committed a decade ago? That's what the P-tape and foreigners' allegations that were unproven, that any foreigner could say what they want to the FBI, that's exactly what the Russiagate investigation was. A suspected Russian spy, Igor Dushenko, telling the FBI and telling Christopher Steele, who was paid by Hillary Clinton, who was also a foreign spy, unproven allegations. So I'm glad Krasenstein agrees we should treat it like we did the Trump tape. Absolutely. Totally agree. What do you think the chances are that Krasenstein will say, yeah, absolutely, that seems fair. FISA warrants, yep. Start raiding lawyers. Sounds good. I wonder. But there's no double standard. There's no double standard at the FBI, right? There's none. That's what we'll be told. Foreigners that were paid by Trump's opposition makes a bunch of accusations about Trump, spying on him, never-ending investigation. When Trump gets frustrated and says, I want this to stop, they say obstruction of justice. Just to be clear, if the FBI, or if the Republicans in this instance, are trying to get documents now about this, that's obstruction of justice if Biden or his DOJ or Merrick Garland try to stop them from getting it, right? That would be obstruction. Trying to obstruct Congress's lawful role in seeing this evidence. That's obstruction of justice, right? I think what we need is a special counsel. And what we should do is, just like the special counsel of Trump was the guy he fired, Comey's mentor, let's have the special counsel be someone that's biased towards Trump and against Biden. How about Rudy Giuliani? And then he can hire 17 Trump-supporting lawyers to do the investigation. It's only fair, right? And let's get FBI agents that have been tweeting that they need an insurance policy against Joe Biden to stop him from winning the election. Let's do that, right? That's because it's like the P-tape, says this Democratic influencer. We should treat it the same. Couldn't agree more. Could not agree more. How do you think that'll go over? You think the destinies of the world say perfectly reasonable. Thank God a bunch of Trump-supporting lawyers are now investigating all of this. Thank God. Thank God that they're now spying on the President of the United States. It's only fair. You think that's what they'll say? Oh, that's obstruction. They're trying to stop Grassley from getting these documents. That's obstruction of justice. You think that's what they'll say? The mere fact that Krasenstein says this proves that he knows the Russiagate investigation was bullshit. These are just unsubstantiated allegations. It's nothing. It's nothing. Any foreigner could say anything they want to the FBI. We shouldn't take it seriously unless they provide evidence. Okay. So I assume you're condemning the fact that the FBI was beyond the pale in doing that exactly to Trump. Now, as I've been talking the past 2 or 3 days when we were talking about the Trump indictment, I'm less concerned about Hillary Clinton, Donald Trump, individuals mishandling classified information. I'm more concerned in a corrupt FBI. All of these actions take place, and the smarter of the left-wing people try, like Pisco will try to do this. He'll say, well, it's prosecutor discretion. Theoretically, the FBI was allowed to do what they wanted, and so the fact that they had a 2-tiered system was okay because it's within the bound. And it just so happened, they just assumed, well, we're going to go after Hillary's team and all these people as light as possible in every possible situation, but Trump's team as hard as possible. And it makes sense. But 95% of them can't even do that. They just say, it's whataboutism, it's conspiracy theory. That's all they say. That's it. But then as soon as a situation like that comes up, they want to... What? You're suggesting spying on Biden just because some foreigner alleged that they have a tape showing he took a bribe? That's ridiculous. Right, they know. They know that the Russiagate investigation was ridiculous. They know it. When you see them, they went after Nada, this co-conspirator of Trump's. They went after him in the indictment. They know that it's ridiculous to give everyone immunity like they did in the Hillary email scandal and then say, well, there's nothing we can do. They know it's ridiculous. They just lie. They don't give a shit. They don't. They don't care at all. And they know the majority of people that listen to them are just going to listen whatever they say. And so when they say, it's just a conspiracy theory, go to Destiny's YouTube video of the debate we had the other day and read the comments. Rob's a conspiracy theorist. He doesn't prove anything. He just jumps from thing to thing. It's all whataboutism for Rob. It's just conspiracy theory. Everything I said, I backed up. Every single thing. Anytime they asked for evidence, they were talking, the FBI, they helped Trump, they reopened. Read directly from the IG report of why that occurred. Reading from the IG report, talking about the classified markings. FBI agents said it defied credulity. Reading from the IG report, talking about the deletion of subpoenaed evidence. My opponents just say that's a conspiracy theory and provide no evidence themselves. They are idiots. But most of the people are bad faith. Brianna probably dumb and didn't know. Destiny knows, though, because I've talked to him about this stuff. He's not dumb. He's bad faith. Right. That's right, Tengo. What is this shit? That was a mistake. 1 second. There we go. That's what I wanted. Ed Krasenstein's brother says, Grassley just said the 1023 form the FBI has as informants claim foreign nationals said there are recordings of Biden. This is what Grassley said. According to the 1023, the foreign nationals possesses 15 audio recordings of phone calls between him and Hunter Biden. According to the 1023, the foreign national possesses 2 audio recordings of phone calls between him and Vice President Biden. Grassley then said these recordings were to act as an insurance policy. Here's the problem. There's no evidence of this. Anyone in another country could claim whatever they want. The fact this is a foreign national who was working with Trump attorney Giuliani calls things into question. Now, if they actually had tapes, that's another story. But considering the Trump DOJ investigated, it means they don't. I could get a random guy in Ukraine who has no legal exposure to the U.S. say he has recordings of Trump to shoot someone on Fifth Avenue. Does that mean it's true? No, you're right. It doesn't mean it's true. But unfortunately, the precedent's been set. Even if Giuliani paid this guy to say that, we have to have a FISA warrant. We have to. We have to have a never-ending FBI investigation that leads into a special count. We have to. That's the standard they set. And now they're like, that's ridiculous. Why should we be held to the same standard that you are? You see? Oops, I wanted to show you this as well. So, if you remember, for some reason the FBI was refusing to hand this document over. They weren't hesitant to hand anything over that made Trump look bad when they were spying on him illegally. Isn't that weird? They said, we can't hand it over because there's still an ongoing investigation. Really, 5-6 years. They'll get around to completing their investigation of Biden 20 years after his presidency. Then they'll get around to it. And then people like Destiny and the left will say, that was so long ago. That was so long ago. Why are we even focused on it? Why are we focused on it? That's forever ago. Notice they don't do the same thing with Trump. They don't say, Stormy Daniels payments, that was forever ago. Trump's not president. Why are we focused on him? Those things are forever ago. Right? It's different then, right? Then it's, oh no, we have to look at this stuff. Have to look at January 6th, that's forever ago. What's going on there? Oh, I'm sorry. I keep screwing up here, bumping buttons. Here's one of the things that Grassley said that was worth pointing out, though. So we see that the FBI, just like, you remember, there's precedent for this, too. You remember when the FBI, when it got leaked that Devin Nunes' memo, right? Nunes put out this memo that was like, look, the Russiagate stuff's bullshit. And Adam Schiff was like, nah, I've seen the proof. Nunes is wrong. And it turned out Nunes was right. And they were trying to get the three, because Nunes was saying they used this Steele dossier to get a FISA warrant. No, Schiff and them said that's not true. And it was unverified. No, that's not true, they said. And the FBI was like, well, we can't release the information. It would jeopardize sources and methods. All bullshit is what it was. It was all bullshit. Oh, that's a bummer. I like John. Well, hi, John, if you hear me. This is from Grassley's statement today. The 1023 produced to the House committee redacted reference to the foreign national who allegedly bribed Joe and Hunter Biden, allegedly, has audio recordings of his conversations with them. So, here's the time frame. Congress, who has oversight over these things legally, and by the way, this 1023 is an unclassified document. So they're like, okay, we want to see this document. And the FBI's like, no, you can't see it. And they're like, but we really want to see it. No, says Christopher Wray. So finally, Comer, a Republican's like, then we're going to hold you in contempt. And so Ray waits till the last minute. It's like, okay, you can see this unclassified document, but only in like a SCIF, a secure location, and you can't show it to people outside, and we're going to redact it. An unclassified document. Do you think they did this, for example, did the FBI do this when it came to documents on Trump's impeachment? Hookups, you're wrong. Just because something... How is this hearsay? Name me something that's not hearsay then. What's hearsay? It's hearsay that I'm reading that Grassley said that this document says that that's hearsay. Then the entire indictment of Trump is hearsay, correct? If your argument is, oh, reading actual documents from politicians is just hearsay, name me content that wouldn't be hearsay. Go ahead. Tangible, measurable, physical nature of things are not hearsay. So give me an example. Give me an example of talking politics that's not hearsay. Go ahead. If reading this statement from Grassley is hearsay, give me an example. Joe Biden says we're going to send F-23s to Ukraine. That's hearsay. I'm just saying what I heard Joe Biden said. That's just hearsay, correct? Or if I read an article from NPR that says it, that's just hearsay. No, you're wrong. So if I'm asking you then, can you name me a discussion that could happen around politics that isn't hearsay? Can you name? Simple question. Or is it impossible? Are all discussions surrounding politics hearsay? And there is no objective truth when it comes to describing political situations. Simple question. I know there's probably a delay, so I'm not going to. Right, Chris. So, for example, if I read a statement from Joe Biden saying something, we'll move on. Hookups, I don't know, is typing something or is moved on from the point. I'm reading shit on Twitter, relying on faith and authority. You verified nothing about this document. It's more or less my point. So I didn't verify that Chuck Grassley said this, that this was Chuck Grassley's statement. How about I play the audio from him? Would you like that? You want me to play the audio? I'll tell you what, though. Here's what I will verify, hookups. You're right. I feel really bad because everything we're talking about, if I'm talking about someone linking a document on Twitch, right, that literally says this is what Grassley said, and that's hearsay. That's no good. We don't want to have conversations of hearsay. But that would mean that you talking in my chat about that's also hearsay. And I really don't want to contribute. I don't want to contribute to you engaging in hearsay. I don't want to contribute that. So I feel like you can't help yourself in this hearsay. You just can't, right? So I'm going to help you out. So I'm looking out for you, hookups. Any last words of hearsay you'd like to say? Anyone? Well, thanks for playing. Look, no one accused me of banning him. That would be hearsay. That's just hearsay. You see? Do you see how stupid these lefties are? Oh, it's just hearsay when you're actually reading the words that they said. That's just hearsay. Hearsay's if someone says, I heard that such and such did this. That's hearsay. Providing a document isn't hearsay. Providing quotes isn't here. They may be quoting hearsay, but I'm not. I'm quoting what they're saying. And what a dumb criticism. What do you think the chances are that he's going on CNN, message boards and criticize? This is hearsay. It's all hearsay. Anytime you're talking about politics, it's all hearsay. You don't think the strategy of pointing out hypocrisy is working? There's so much of it. Well, of course. But what's the alternative? Obviously, we have to point out the double standards and hopefully to move enough people to demand that it stops. The way that it stops is that the people engaged in the double standard face consequences. But I don't have the ability to do that. I'm not president or something like that. Oh, on the Kick app. Let's see. I'm on Kick. Hello, Kick folk. A lot of John Burke. A lot of penis talk there. Hello. Thank you for following me on Kick or watching me on Kick. I really appreciate it. Thanks so much, John. You guys are the best. We're talking about Grassley claiming that there is a tape or that there is allegations that the FBI has been sitting on a form that have alleged for a long time now that Joe Biden received a bribe from Burisma, the corrupt company his son was on the board of directors of. And now there's audio tapes of the person who paid that bribe to them. And I was pointing out that prominent Democrat influencers, the Krasensteins, were saying things like, oh, just an allegation from a foreign national, that's nothing. That doesn't mean anything. And this is just like the P tape of Trump. I agree. Let's hold it to the same standard. Makes sense. Old driver says we're all fascist clowns. You're right. See ya. Have fun in China. I can't figure out... Yeah, well, screw Twitch. Absolutely. I totally agree with that. I can't figure out how to get kicks on my restream chat there, how to get Kick to show up. It's supposed to, but for some reason it hasn't been working. So hopefully I get that figured out soon. Channel URL required. Alright, we'll try. Hopefully next time that'll be working. So why is the FBI redacting this when they sent the document over? Why would they do that? It's an unclassified document. Congress has the right to see it. What's so sensitive? All the people saying, well, it's no big deal. That's just hearsay. All the people saying that, then why was it redacted? If it's just a garbage claim, no big deal, why'd the FBI seek to redact it? Thanks, Monster Throtatron 9000. I appreciate it. I always enjoy debates. These are always the claim, like, there's standards that they set forth that doesn't even make sense. And I asked it in the debate I had the other day there. Dylan was saying, this is just a document from Rudy Giuliani, no big deal. Okay, then why is Christopher Wray willing to almost face a contempt of Congress charge to withhold it from them? This has been covered, and again, the real story is Yes. Do I think that there's potential corruption charges here with Joe Biden stuff? Yeah. But the real story is, the bigger story than the actions of Joe Biden, and I've been consistent on this, when it comes to allegations against Trump, allegations against Biden, allegations against Hillary. The real problem is the corrupt nature of the FBI. They're the real villains that need to face consequences. Why have they treated this differently than spurious allegations against Trump that led to the unprecedented action of getting FISA warrants to spy on the President of the United States? That we now know was from rumors from a Russian spy that were never verified, that were paid for and concocted by Hillary Clinton's team. That's the standard. That's what was set. Why isn't that occurring right now with Biden? And I know that this will be the big brain lefty take. How do you know it's not? Maybe they have a FISA warrant. And then what they'll wait is, we'll wait for 2 or 3 years until we find out exactly what they had and they announce, and there wasn't a FISA warrant. And then the left will say, that was so long ago. Who cares now? I've seen a little bit of Curtis Yarvin. Yeah, Russiagate was launched on hearsay. Absolutely true. Don't get me wrong, it's good that Grassley came out and said this, but I'm still very, very skeptical that they'll actually do anything meaningful about it. Very skeptical. Now, like I was saying, unlike with the Trump tape, the P tape, and all of those foreigners' allegations that were never verified, there was never even smoke that Trump was colluding with Russia. The best they had was, well, some Trump people talked to some Russians, but so did almost every prominent national level political campaign, particularly those running for president. Hillary's team did. Biden's team did. Bush's team did. You talk to your counterparts. John Kerry met with Iranians even when he was a private citizen. So if that's justification, as that one guy was debating last night tried to say, well, that's why Russiagate was serious, because some people met with Russians. Yeah, that's not a reason to spy on the president. That's absurd. And even if it was the rationale that they gave, which it has no legal basis whatsoever, why is it just Trump's people that we're concerned about? But the surrounding facts around the Joe Biden, Hunter Biden bribery scheme, we know that there's smoke there. We don't have enough public information at this point to definitively say that Joe Biden took bribes. But we know that his son was working and getting money from corrupt foreign interests. That's indisputable, as was his brother. We know that his son was sending emails to his business partners saying that that money was getting kicked around, including 10% to the big guy. We know that the business partner said the big guy is Joe Biden. He was directly getting this money. We know that Biden lied when he said he never met with anyone in their business situation. And we know that it's beggar's belief that he's like, I didn't know anything about my son's business arrangement. We know that Joe Biden issued a quid pro quo to get the prosecutor that was allegedly looking into his son fired. We know that prosecutor had seized the assets of Burisma, of its founder Zlochevsky. We know that once that prosecutor was fired, if he was really fired because he was corrupt and he wasn't looking into corruption like Burisma, well, as soon as he was fired, it got kicked to the NABU, which is basically the FBI of the Ukraine. And they were the allies of the Obama administration, funded by the Obama administration. So, oh, thank God. Now the investigation's out of this corrupt prosecutor's hands. Thanks to Biden, they issued a quid pro quo to get him fired. Now it's in the hands of people we could trust. And they quickly buried the investigation. Interesting. Hopefully so, Broomba, but I'm skeptical. So when there's allegations of, oh, someone is saying they have audio tape of conversations that they had surrounding these bribes, I'm not saying that 100% proves that tape exists. I'm not. But I'm saying there's far more credibility that that's likely than the shit that was alleged with Trump-Russia collusion. That there was no smoke. In addition, we have actual audio tapes of Biden. Here's one.
To your economic as well as physical security. Critically, this is getting very...
Actually, that wasn't the video I was looking for, but even there, you can see, we know that there's audio tapes of him talking to Poroshenko. Let me see if I can find the ones I want. Let's see. Nope. Let's see if this is it.
Assuming that there is a new government and a new prosecutor general, I am prepared to do a public signing of the commitment for the $1 billion.
Despite of the fact that we didn't have any corruption charges, we don't have any information about he doing something wrong, I especially asked him, no, it was the day before yesterday, I especially asked him to resign.
Congratulations on installing the new prosecutor general. It's going to be critical for him to work quickly to repair the damage Shokin did. And I'm a man of my word. And that now that the new prosecutor general's in place, we're ready to move forward in signing that new $1 billion loan guarantee.
So we have all of this smoke surrounding it. Remember, by the way, when I debated Destiny on this, remember what he said? He said, we can't trust Biden's word that he did a quid pro quo. He was just bragging. I suppose now we can't trust his phone call, right? That'll be the next argument. What's up, Gizmo? Correct? OAN, seriously, what would you prefer, the corrupt New York Times? Don't you love, too, how people do that? I played an audio clip of Biden talking to Poroshenko. And they're like, oh, this was on OAN. I don't trust that. Literally, it was the audio of Biden. What's the claim here? That you think OAN used AI? Is that the claim? I only trust CNN and MSNBC. Everyone could see through. Now, I'm willing to talk to any lefty about any topic that they want to talk about, if they want to call in a debate tonight. Though I have to get to bed at a reasonable hour. But if no one's really lined up, I'll say this. I'm uninterested in hearing anything about Donald Trump's indictment anymore. Uninterested. I'm going to say, Donald Trump's not president. What do they say when I bring up, I'm focused on the double standard of how the FBI treated Hillary Clinton versus Donald Trump. They say, she's not president. She's not president. That's in the past. That's just whataboutism. As far as I'm concerned, Trump's not president. That's in the past. So any talks of Trump is just whataboutism to try to justify Biden's corruption. That's all it is. It's whataboutism. That's it. Mm-hmm. Maybe we'll do a short stream tonight. So I'll tell you what I was going to do. That's right. That's right. One of the things they say all the time, too, is my criticism is it's not Republican versus Democrat, that it's establishment versus people outside the establishment. And so what they'll always fall back to is like, but Bill Barr and Comey's a lifelong Republican, and Bill Barr. Does it look like Bill Barr and Comey are big Trump fans? While Trump would have arrested everyone. Destiny with one of the most insane leaps of logic I've ever seen, which is as follows. If there's corruption, then they would just do everything corrupt. They would arrest everyone who criticizes them. Okay, do you think it was corrupt that Trump mishandled classified documents? Yep. Then he would have mishandled every document. He would have, if he's corrupt, he would have arrested all of his opponents, right? So that it can't be true that he's corrupt. Sorry. Wrong button there. James Comer said that they're issuing a subpoena to Devin Archer, who's John Kerry's son, to appear from them to talk next week. So that'll be something to look forward to. There's no sound in Kick? Is that true? Can anyone hear me? If you're on Kick, can you let me know on Kick if you could hear me? It should be working. Yeah. I don't know. Gizmo, other people were saying that. Yeah. I don't know. So, yeah, I see the chat on Rumble. There should be audio here as well, right? On Rumble. I hope so. Nonetheless, so I gotta be honest, I'm a little tired tonight because I didn't sleep hardly at all yesterday. So maybe I'll just end it early here, but we should treat this tape and the allegation just like we treated the allegations against Trump. That means we need FISA warrants to spy on Biden's team right now. We need we need a massive investigation that raids his entire team, goes through all of his entire team, his Secretary of State, his campaign manager, all of them. See if they've committed any crimes, financial crimes, even going decades past. Get anyone, try to interview them without their lawyers there, like they did to Flynn. Oh, Spanky, that's a question that I had early when it came to this. The guy from NARA, who's a Trump hater, said he immediately was like, I noticed as Trump was leaving that they had boxes, and I was like, I'm interested. Only Trump, though. NARA's never done that with anyone else. They didn't know that Obama was taking boxes or Biden was taking boxes. They never questioned that. Sounds like NARA's doing a piss-poor job if they didn't know that Biden had all those documents for years, huh? They never even suspected? Strange. They seem to be real interested, though, in what Trump had right out of the gate. But why do I give a shit? Trump's not president. Biden is. Biden's corrupt. That's whataboutism to talk about Trump. I don't give a shit about his indictment. Why are they indicting Trump? He's not president. So, all right, let's find someone to raid on Twitch here. Oh, let's see. How about Lecture Fan? But I'm a little sleepy and I don't have anyone to argue with tonight, so I should be back tomorrow. Tomorrow's show we'll talk about politics and what have you, but I also think that I got some personal stuff to talk about, so if that's your jam, it should be good. Thank you all very much for being here. Sorry I'm ending a little early here, but I was up until like 3 a.m. last night, and I had to get up at 6, so I have to get up at 6 again tomorrow, and I got a little paperwork to do here. I would still stick around if someone was calling in to argue, but I probably should end it and get to bed. So I do. Thank you so much, Dex, for the cheer. I really appreciate that. Thank you. You guys are the best, really. Thank you to John Burke for reaching out. I really appreciate all of you. I think that you'll like Lecture Fan. Hopefully he's talking about this. I didn't see what exactly he has lined up tonight, but I think you'll like him. So thank you all so much. We'll see you tomorrow around in between 8 and 9. As always, have a good one.
Sorry, we're trying to catch up on chat here, guys. Trying to catch up on chat. Dude, he is a dark horse. Dude, Whoa! Robnoerr rating with a party of 21. Thank you, Rob.